Despite the bond of brotherhood, having the youngest in the family babysat to the oldest is not such a good idea as parents like to believe. Worse still, you impact the psychology of your elderly children as well as the attachment and the brotherly feeling that they nurture with the little ones. Parents can sporadically entrust their little one to the big brother or the big sister. However, if this custody solution becomes a habit, they undermine the childhood of the elder brother or the big sister. Every child should have the right to enjoy their innocence and thus be able to form healthy fraternal bonds. Why not have our children look after our older children? Often, the youngest child is looked after by the elder who is often attributed the function of babysitting to the detriment of his development. If the care is occasional, it is not bad to have your children look after your older children when you go out as a couple. On the other hand, if the eldest sibling spends most of his time looking after his little siblings, you put the siblings in danger. And for good reason. The care of children by an even older elder does not protect him from the dangers that can be avoided by a responsible adult. The eye of a larger one does not see blunt objects, which is likely to suffocate the smaller one or places that may expose it to a fall. And for good reason. A child also growing up without parental authority can be stimulated by his curiosity and to expose himself in spite of himself with his little sister or his brother to a dangerous situation. This is especially the case when the oldest is under 12 years old. In this case, it is preferable to use the services of a home nanny, an au pair or a licensed childminder when the parents have to leave the home. Another type of childcare can be chosen by asking for the kindness of a mother-in-law or a sister. Having the oldest child look after your child becomes a burden. If on an ad hoc basis, having your child look after your eldest child can help, this habit negatively impacts the eldest in the family. Older siblings can keep an eye on younger siblings as long as it is for a few minutes, such as when you are cooking dinner or giving them a task. The child in charge of the little ones may also want to play and enjoy the activities that they like and may consider this occasional care to be a real burden. The idea is not to entrust this responsibility to the eldest sibling as if it were another parent such as a granny or an aunt, explains Christine Brunette, clinical psychologist. The latter suggests that when the big sister takes care of her little brother, we must avoid telling him that she is playing mother, because the baby has only one mother. Remember that this is not a professional and that if an accident happens, guilt will always weigh on them while watching their little brother or sister is not their responsibility. Even at a later age, a child is always alert and must learn things that he can assimilate while playing or during socialization. Too much to ask harms your child's imagination and ability to enjoy his childhood. You can give your oldest son or daughter simple, fun tasks like watching a movie with their sibling, reading a story, or playing a board game. The role of big brother or sister should not take precedence over his life. Having a sibling to take care of outside of household chores does not leave room for all the necessary distractions in the lives of young children. Staying with the younger child should be a matter of free choice for the older child, who may also want to play with friends or incorporate hobbies into their schedule. Having time for yourself is necessary to develop your intelligence and social skills and learning abilities. Some parents who constantly entrust the little ones to the big ones also expose them to frustration due to the too many responsibilities weighing on their shoulders. They must also fulfill their school obligations such as their homework or their group projects. Their childhood must take place and they must be able to flourish without taking on the role of parent to siblings or a blended family. Letting the elder child take care of the child also has an emotional impact which has consequences for the role of big brother or big sister. At what age can a child assume family responsibilities? Florence Buchan, special educator and family therapist, indicates that it is normal for parents to quickly entrust responsibilities to their elders vis-a-vis the younger ones, but that it is important to be careful about these requests. This has significant consequences, both positive and negative. Says the specialist. From 3 years old and up to 7 years old, a parent can ask older children to take on certain activities according to their abilities. This could be telling a story, pouring her a glass of water, or helping her eat. These acts allow the little brother or sister to learn the elementary gestures to acquire autonomy more quickly and to consolidate siblings. At 7 years old, the child can keep his little sister or his little brother for a period of time, but it is important for parents to be careful because they must hand over this responsibility gradually. They must ensure proper behavior in the absence of adults for a few minutes before extending the duration. Consider him as a child who is trusted. Seniors can quickly feel overwhelmed when looking after the children of large siblings. And for good reason. It becomes difficult to enforce rules of life, and the child in charge of the surveillance can be drawn by his natural instincts to play or to discover. Also, the younger siblings can rebel against the prohibitions imposed by the older one or more, and this can quickly become unmanageable. To be able to establish a harmony, the parental role is to know how each one acts alone or in group, while not forgetting that they alone must assume the children to be looked after. And for good reason. Placing the responsibility on the eldest is heavy. Rather, it is recommended to consider him as a child who is trusted in the same way as his little brother or sister. The latter is more than a member of the family. What to do when the child is 10 years old? If at this age, a boy or a girl is better able to keep an eye on his younger brother because he is more independent, that does not mean that it does not remain a child. He may, like his siblings, want to play and be impulsive in the face of an upset. Depending on the age difference, sibling rivalry can be strong. The love-hate relationship is more common when the siblings are close in age. It is for this reason that it is important for parents to arbitrate conflicts in the fairest way possible by not taking sides with one or the other. And for good reason. Giving the image of having a favorite child is not healthy for a relationship between brother and sister, twins, or for siblings of the same sex. There is no ready-made recipe, just individual sensitivity, listening, communication. Which is probably the most important in the role of parent, explains the family expert. What are the risks between two siblings? When a parent overloads their child with chores, it can affect the relationship between siblings. And for good reason. There is an ambivalence in this link tinged with both love and hate. The eldest welcomes the youngest and must then share the attention of his parents, his space and his toys. The youngest, who has never had the exclusive interest of his parents, will be able to envy the older one and feel a rivalry that catalyzes conflicts. When one gives too much responsibility to the elder, it nourishes this dynamic of ascendancy over the other, and the older one can feel suffocated in his life of child or teenager. This risks making him a responsible person but who will tend to conform to what parents expect of him. Which is comfortable, of course, but not always the most fulfilling for the adult in the making, analyzes Florence Buchan. What tasks to entrust to his eldest? Asking your eldest child to take care of his little brother or sister occasionally empowers him and strengthens the fraternal relationship on the condition that he is given light tasks commensurate with his abilities. Dressing the little one, telling him a story, distracting him are all things a young child can do, and it will be positive for him. These small gestures provide relief to parents when they are overwhelmed without this being able to be a heavy responsibility which swallows up the free time of the big brother or the big sister. Conversely, asking them to pick them up every day from school is a heavy duty. The eldest child may develop jealousy because he may have the impression that the parents are abandoning him for the benefit of the younger one. Arguments between siblings are not necessarily negative. Sometimes sibling conflicts can benefit children,